So you're in a spot we've all been in, right? Your business is growing, which is awesome, but so is that mountain of day-to-day operational work. The default move, it's always been to hire more people. But what if that's not the smartest way to scale anymore? Today, we're going to break down exactly how AI automation lets you grow your output without having to grow your headcount. Let's dive in.
This is the big question every single business owner slams into eventually. More customers mean more invoices, more support tickets, more reports, just more of everything. The traditional path has always been, well, I guess we need to add more people. But is that really the only option on the table?
And this right here, this lays out the huge shift that's happening. Look at the left side. That's the old playbook. More work leads to more people, which, you guessed it, leads to more costs. It's like climbing a staircase that just gets more and more expensive. Now look at the right. With AI, you build the automation pipeline one time. And whether you're pushing 100 invoices through it or 10,000, the cost basically stays flat. This isn't just a small improvement. It's a totally different economic model for how you grow.
Okay, so the idea sounds great, but where on earth do you actually start? It can feel like you need to automate everything all at once, which is overwhelming. You don't. Let's walk through a really simple framework that'll help you pinpoint the perfect starting points inside your own business.
I want you to think of this as the DNA of your company's operations. Seriously, you can break down pretty much any business this way. About 40% of what your team is doing is probably right for full automation. You know, the repetitive stuff. Another 30% or so can be supercharged with AI, basically giving your team superpowers. And that leaves a critical 30% for pure human strategy and judgment. This isn't just a chart. It's your treasure map for where to focus your efforts.
So let's start with the low-hanging fruit, those immediate wins. We're talking about high-volume, repetitive tasks. Think about processing invoices. AI can literally read the document, pull out all the data, and send it for approval. Or triaging customer emails, sorting them by what the problem is, and getting them to the right person instantly. These are the absolute best places to start if you want a quick, visible return on your investment.
All right, next up is the hybrid model, where AI becomes this incredibly powerful assistant for your team. This isn't about replacement, it's all about augmentation. AI can whip up first drafts of content for your team to polish and perfect. It can write up initial customer service responses for a human to review and send. This speeds up work like you wouldn't believe, often doubling or even tripling a team's output. And finally, we get to the tasks where humans absolutely have to stay in the driver's seat. These are the complex, creative, and relationship-heavy parts of your business. Here, AI isn't the decision maker. No way. It's a powerful research and analysis tool that can surface data and give you options, so your team can make the best possible strategic calls.
So now that we know what to automate, let's dig into the how. And this isn't about some massive, scary, complicated overhaul. It's a straightforward three-phase strategy to get you from just an idea to actually having this stuff running without all the guesswork.
We'll break it down into these 3 simple steps. First, you're going to audit and prioritize what you actually do. Second, you pick one small, manageable pilot project to test the waters. And third, you implement it and watch the results. This whole approach is designed to take the risk and the where do I start panic out of the equation.
This first step is without a doubt the most important one, and it's the one everyone wants to skip. Don't. Before you automate a single thing, you have to understand your current reality. For just a week or two, track the repetitive tasks. How many are there? How long does each one take? This isn't just busy work. It's you gathering the data that will point you directly to your biggest opportunities.
Okay, once you've got your list, please don't try to boil the ocean. Just pick one project to get started. The perfect pilot is something that's going to save a noticeable amount of time, like, say, more than 10 hours a month, but it's also low risk. That means if something goes a little wonky, it's not going to mess up your whole customer experience. A quick win here builds incredible momentum for everything else.
Now for the tech side of things. As you can see, there's a whole spectrum of tools out there. You've got simple workflow automators you can set up in an afternoon, all the way to more advanced AI models for things like document processing or content creation. The key takeaway here is that the barrier to entry has never, ever been lower. You do not need to be a programmer to get started with this stuff.
Theory is great, but what does this look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's check out a few case studies that really show the tangible impact these strategies can have.
So for our first example, picture a consulting firm that was just getting buried in paperwork. We're talking over 200 invoices every single month, and each one had to be manually scanned, data typed into a spreadsheet, and then emailed around for approval. It was a massive time suck for the team. And here is the after picture. They went from 25 hours of painful manual work every month down to just 3.
Think about that for a second. That's almost 3 full workdays a month just handed back to the team so they could focus on clients instead of admin. And the best part? The system completely paid for itself in only 2 months.
All right, next up, an e-commerce store. And they had what you'd call a good problem. Tons of customers. But that meant over 500 support emails were flooding in every single day. It took 2 full-time people just to read and sort them. And in the meantime, customers were waiting an average of 6 hours for a response. In the online shopping world, that's an eternity.
So, by using AI to automatically figure out what each email was about and route it to the right place, look what happened. The average response time plummeted from a painful 6 hours to just 45 minutes. That is a total game changer for customer happiness, and it freed up over half of the support team's time to actually solve the more complex problems.
And one last example for you. A B2B software company. Their sales team was spending hours every week customizing product documents and proposals for each potential client. It was super important work, but it was keeping them from doing what they do best, actually selling.
So they used a language model to create a tool that could draft these customized documents almost instantly. A task that used to take 40 minutes of manual work now took 5. And the result wasn't that they needed fewer salespeople, it was that the exact same team could suddenly handle 30% more deals. That is a direct, measurable impact on the company's bottom line.
Okay, these case studies are incredibly inspiring, but let's have a reality check for a second. It's not always a perfectly straight line to success. To make sure your projects actually work, it is so important to be aware of a few common traps. Let's cover the 3 biggest mistakes you need to watch out for.
The first, and honestly the most critical mistake, is automating a broken process. If your manual system is messy, inefficient, or has flaws, well, automating it just makes those problems happen way faster and at a much bigger scale. So the key is this: document your process, clean it up, and standardize it before you even think about writing a single line of automation.
Number 2, you gotta be realistic about accuracy. An 85% accuracy rate sounds pretty good, right? But what it really means is you're getting 15 mistakes for every 100 times you run it. For some tasks, that's totally fine. For others, it's a complete disaster. The solution is to define what an acceptable error rate is and always plan to have a human in the loop to catch the exceptions.
And finally, never ever forget the human element. If you just drop a new tool on your team without any explanation, they're going to resist it. It's just human nature. They might worry about their jobs or just hate that their workflow is changing. The key is to communicate clearly from the start, involve them in the design and testing process, and show them how this new tool makes their job better, not obsolete.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Successful AI automation is not about cutting headcount. It's about unlocking human potential. It's about taking the boring, repetitive, monotonous tasks off your team's plate so they can finally focus on creativity, on strategy, and on solving the complex problems that truly drive your business forward.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about for your own business. If you could just erase the routine stuff, the repetitive tasks, the drudgery from your team's workday, what could they truly achieve? What amazing new ideas could they explore? That, right there, is the real promise of all this technology.